Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. And as you could tell from the introduction, I was a little bit tongue-tied at the beginning. We are live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're on YouTube. We're on E360 TV network under Fresh Takes, going out to Apple TV, Fire TV, Android, Roku, and many more. We're also on Business Innovators Radio Network, and we're also streaming on mspnewsglobal.com. And I just want to make an official shout out to our show sponsors, Dreamweaver, Artist, Ranch. Let's bring in our incredible guest, Greg Garrity, and we're talking about a great topic today, Greg. Everything what I'm passionate about, hypnosis. So I'm really looking forward to a conversation with you.
Me too.
So, Greg, in your experience, what are the key qualities that make a CEO an invincible leader?
Well, Mark, that's a really good question. And you sometimes think that it's down to just personality, but it's not. It's a bunch of other things as well. The first thing is vision, having the ability to have a vision for the company, to take the company forward, a vision that you can make a plan of. Most people don't think far enough ahead when they're CEOs. An invincible CEO has got a long-term vision and has broken it down, bringing it back in stages to where he is now or her now. Also, the ability to lead. So the ability to not only grow a team, but to lead them well. It's very easy to get employees. At one point, I probably had hundreds of employees, but it's very hard to keep your employees happy in good times and bad. It's all well and good if the company's doing well, but sometimes you've got to make tough decisions and you've got to take your team with you through it. That's also the next, tough decision part. There are a lot of people that either don't make the decision and allow the control to be taken away from them, or they make it and they're then fearful about what their employees will say. Therefore, they don't tell them. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because when the employees find out, they all hit the roof because something's happened and they were none the wiser. So you've got to be honest. You've got to be able to go to your team and say, listen, this has happened. We're going to get through it. I've got a plan for that. It might mean we've got to drop productivity, or we've got to reduce hours or whatever for the next 3 months or whatever. But I promise you that if we follow these rules, we're going to come out the other side and everything will be as it was or better. That way you take the team with you, because the team are all, I think, there were lots of times during lockdown where staff decided amongst themselves with the management team to not get paid for a month, or to only get paid half wages, to enable the company to go forward, because they knew in the long run they were going to be better off. That's the team you want behind you. Even though you've got to make a profit to have a business, you want to be able to have a team that it feels like they're getting something from it as well.
I hear you. And all successful people say you should have a vision. And most people that I follow, all the leaders I'm into, they all say start at the end, live in the end. Is that something that you believe, Greg?
Absolutely. Work out exactly what you want and then take it a step back. It might be that when you sit down, you say, so where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? And then you go, okay, so if I'm there in 10 years, I need to be here at year 8 to enable year 10 to happen, and then come all the way back. You can work it out almost to the month, which sounds crazy, but
micro steps.
Yes.
So, Greg, before we go on to the next question, just share with our audience and people watching just a little bit about yourself and what you do in business.
Okay, so what I do in business is I'm a hypnotist, first and foremost, and I work with CEOs and business people, business leaders, to increase their productivity, to give them an invincible mindset, to take away stress, or to reduce symptoms of stress. Because quite often now, especially after the last 3 years we've had, there are a lot of business leaders that are suffering physical symptoms due to stress, due to anxiety. I can reduce and remove those things whilst also improving their mindset to go forward. So I'm about changing people's outlook to make them better at what they do.
And I'm a big fan of hypnotherapy and being hypnotized. I've been hypnotized myself and also use self-hypnosis. I know the power of it. And a lot of people, when you say hypnosis, they may think of stage hypnosis where you get turned into a chicken, but it's not like that at all, is it, Greg? It's a really great way of changing the programs in your mind so that you can manage your mind a lot better, isn't it?
That's absolutely right. I think it's medically proven now that our unconscious mind makes decisions before our conscious mind does. They've put people in MRI scanners and asked them questions or asked them to make decisions, and milliseconds before they say, I've made that decision, different areas of the brain light up that are related to the unconscious mind. So you're not actually making the decision. Your unconscious mind is making the decision and allowing you to own it. So the unconscious mind is the power behind everything we do. Yes. You know, if people step onto a stage and look out at an audience and are scared to death, that's come from somewhere in their unconscious mind. At some point in their past, they've been in a situation like that and it's gone badly for them, or they've been called out for it. You know, they might have been children, but that's how you end up with fears and anxieties and phobias. It's all from the past. And hypnosis allows you to work with a problem, work with an issue, without me even needing to know what it is. You know, you could come to me and you could say, something really bad happened to me in my life and I need to get over it. I don't go, well, tell me all about it. Tell me the detail. I go, okay, sit down, and I work with them to clear it, and do clear it. And they get to stand up and go, wow, that's the best I've felt in years, and walk out and not think about it again. Or if they think about it, they've detached the emotion from it. So now it's just something that happened. It's not the cornerstone of their emotional intelligence.
That's a really good point, actually, because it's not so much the memory that's the problem. It's the emotion that it brings up when you get that gut feeling, or it makes you feel anxious or panic. So when the emotion is gone, it kind of doesn't bother you if that thought pops in, and it kind of just fades after that because the emotion is totally gone. But yes, you are right. They say all of your programming comes from childhood up to about the age of 6 or 7. And unfortunately, so many of us have had such terrible programming from our past. And for me, I have had to do a lot of work with meditations, hypnosis, affirmations to really reprogram my mind. And I really, really know the power of hypnosis. It's really, really effective, and it's one of the quickest ways to get straight into the subconscious to change all of those programs, isn't it, Greg?
It is. It is. And there are so many, you know, there'll be people watching this now that perhaps suffer from things like neuromyalgia and other so-called conditions. I work with people like that, or who have those conditions, and I've removed their pain. Their swelling has gone down. They've been able to go join the gym, get a job, things they couldn't do beforehand. Not because I'm some amazing healer, but because their unconscious mind was holding on to trauma, and it was leaking out into their body, causing physical symptoms. Once you get your head around that, it becomes easy to change anything. And that's one of the best parts of my job.
I was going to say it must be so rewarding for you, Greg, because you can see the improvements of your clients. That must make you feel really happy.
It absolutely, I'm in awe. I'm in awe of them. You know, literally, it's not me doing it. No, I'm trained in how to take you on the journey. But the person I'm working with is doing all of the legwork, is doing all of the hard work inside here.
Yes.
So, it's, you know, I'm not some magician. I just know how to take you there and direct you and bring you through it in the best way. They're doing all the work, and they come out of it and they're just amazed.
Yes, I've done ones for
people burst out laughing. One guy I was working with, he came to me. He was a very aggressive man, and he'd had some bad stuff happen to him when he was a kid, and he was a fighter. He would fight anyone at the drop of a hat. And I only needed to do one session with him, and by the end of it, he was just giggling. He was just laughing. He said, "I cannot believe how happy I feel." He said, I've got no anger at all.
Yes, I've done ones for confidence before, and valuing myself, like self-value. And they take you back to when you're a young child, and you kind of see a different perspective and grow up as the new version of yourself. It's so powerful, the techniques, and yes. You really do feel an improvement. It's just hard to explain how you feel the same, but you feel different. You just think better. It's just strange.
It's like, yeah, if I was to take someone who was highly stressed and work with them to clear the issues, that the problems that they got in their head that they were stressed about, and just say to them, you know, allow everything that's built up over the last 6 months to be released so that you can start it again from scratch. And they'll come out of it and go, I feel relaxed. I'm not worried about those things now. I've got a better idea, a better head on to then go forward and solve those issues. You know, because you can't solve issues, even if you're the most innovative person on the planet. You can't solve problems when you're immersed in them. You know, and if it comes with financial pressure as well, it's all, you're almost like, I don't know where to move for the best. You need to take the emotion away. It's always about taking the emotion away. Yes. Because once you take the emotion away, you can look at option A, you can look at option B, you can look at option C. Weigh up the benefits, make the right decision. If you're stressed, you may as well almost flick a coin, because your judgment is out. It's out of whack. Even if you feel you're in control of it.
Another thing I was struggling with, not so much now, but rather than my mind going to what could go right and all the things that can go well. And I think as human beings, we're programmed to think about worst case scenarios and what can go wrong. And,
exactly.
And you go down that road, and it's hard to get out of it once you start believing it, Greg.
It's a survival instinct, isn't it? You know, when we were cavemen, we were programmed to go, don't look behind those rocks in case there's an animal there. And what we've got at the moment is, because we live in a society that is now so complex, there are so many different layers of nuances to do with everything, whether it's conversation, politics, work, anything. Everything's become more complicated. We're still working with a Mark I brain. It's having to adapt. So in the old days, it would have been fight or flight when someone was coming at you with a weapon or sharp teeth. Nowadays, it's because you've missed your bus, or you're standing next to someone in the lift you don't like, or something like ridiculous things that when you're outside of them, you can say it's ridiculous. But when it's causing you the stress, it's still a very real thing. It's like a phobia. You know, who in their right mind would say a spider is frightening? It's not going to do you any harm. It's definitely not going to attack you. It's going to run away at the drop of a hat. But for people with spider phobias, no.
I'm okay with spiders, not so much snakes. I'm okay with spiders, just not snakes. Now, some of the issues that you tackle, I mean, I know I've worked on programming abundance beliefs and creating more wealth, getting rid of fears. What are some of the common issues that you work through with your clients, and what kind of clients do you work with, Greg?
So I do some one-to-one stuff occasionally with people if it's necessary, or if they've got something big that they need to, like, for example, if someone's got to do a presentation in front of 500 people and they're absolutely terrified, I can spend 2 or 3 days working with them, and they're going to be absolutely gorgeous forever standing up in front of people. No problem. Mostly I work with CEOs or business leaders. Primarily, again, it's about the same things that you work with other people, because CEOs, if a CEO's going to stand up in front of the board and make some difficult decisions, they might have enmity from 11 other people or whatever. So they've got to be confident enough and able to deliver in a way that breeds confidence from the people that are listening to it. They can't be umming and ahhing. And there's not many people they can go to. You know, if you're a CEO, everyone expects you to be like a CEO. So sometimes they've got to go to people, well, sometimes, or lots of times, they've got to go to people like me to ensure that they can get the training they need, so they've got the presence, so they've got the confidence and the delivery style in the bag to make the decisions they've got to make.
I love the work that you're doing, and I think you're really serving the world in a great way. Is there anything that we did not cover that you want to share today, Greg?
Yes, just the fact that if anyone's listening to this and they're suffering from migraines, if they're suffering from swollen joints, bad back, or almost any condition that is not going away, if it's not been, I'm going to say, I don't mean diseases, etc., but if you've got conditions, it's very probable that they can be helped with hypnosis. It's very probable. Even if it's down to just pain reduction, hypnosis will help you. I will dial down pain with people, and they will tell me at the same time as I'm doing it, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down. Can hardly feel it now. And even if that only works for a few days, sometimes it works for weeks, sometimes it works for a few days. It depends on the people and their life prompts and things like that. It causes such relief for them. So if you've got anything like that, consider a hypnotist.
Yes.
Consider me.
I think people don't understand sometimes the power of the mind, and like you mentioned, pain, everything is in the mind, isn't it, yes. Greg?
Yes. I know people that have had I've not done it, but one of my colleagues works with ladies giving birth so that they have no drugs at all during birth. I know people that work with tattooists so that the tattooist is able to work on very delicate areas with the people involved not feeling any pain at all.
Incredible. Tell our audience how they can get an hold of you, Greg, and who would you like to come forward to you?
So if you're in business and you're struggling with either your vision, or you're in a situation where, because of the financial states within the country at the moment, you're thinking, I don't know if I've got what it takes to do the next 12 months, or you've got just difficult decisions that you're struggling with and you can't get over them, give me a shout. You can follow me on LinkedIn, and you can follow me on Instagram, Greg Garrity, the Impact Catalyst. I'm easy to find, and just DM me.
Connect with Greg. I highly recommend hypnotherapy, being hypnotized. It's life-changing. Thank you so much, Greg, for coming onto the show today. Also, stay on, because I'm interested in a private session with you. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions about that. So stay on there. But thank you once again for coming onto the Brilliance Business Show.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
The pleasure has been all mine. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Brilliance Business.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.